I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is Season 3, Episode 1 of The Sinner. Of course, freaking us out all the time, but in the best way possible. I'm Yvette Sanchez, your resident. I love anything that is supernatural. I think I have psychic abilities. I think I have intuition. And then we got Miss Ashley Dior Jones, because there's so many Ashleys, but there's only one Dior Jones.
That is right.
And she is our resident scaredy cat, but she still sat through the whole episode and only covered her eyes once. And Mr. Drama Queen Nate over here. He loved it just as much. All right, guys. So let's just go straight into the episode. What were your initial thoughts of the whole episode?
Go, girl. I know you want to go. Go.
Oh my gosh, I was terrified. Like from the beginning, I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. But honestly, my very first thought was, how hot is Matt Bomer?
I think that's every girl, but I think they also cry a little bit inside.
A little bit inside.
A little bit inside.
With those big blue eyes, that huge smile. When I saw him come up on the screen, I was like, yes, this is.
We aren't doing this. We are not doing this.
She's doing it. And I want her to have her moment.
Okay.
He helps tame my fear.
So we have 8 episodes, and so we have 8 shows.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm not about to be on this panel with you women talking about how beautiful this man is.
Sorry.
Okay. We can talk about how beautiful I am. We don't have to talk about beautiful Matt right now.
Oh, that's what it is. That's all you had to say.
We're supposed to be analyzing and breaking down this show. We're not supposed to be talking about and having this love fest. God.
Okay, help me overcome my fear.
There we go.
There we
there
go.
was a
That's
reason
the
why she
connection.
had to mention it.
That's right.
But let's talk about when we first open up on Matt, or I'm sorry, Jamie. I thought it was a very weird introduction, like introducing him as the one of the main characters. I thought his vibe was a little strange. It wasn't anything inviting, especially when he was talking to the student. I thought it was a little weird how he's like, you just write it, I'll go ahead and edit it. I took it as maybe the girl needed like a self-confidence boost and he was telling her to do it and he would go back and edit. But I think the whole tone was a little bit different. You know, it was a little like, this is a little strange. Am I the only one that got that vibe?
No, totally felt that. No?
No, I got a different vibe.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hear the vibe. What did
My
you
different
get?
vibe, he's definitely weird. But initially, what I got from him initially was that he was a normal guy. You know, he was a guy who was a teacher. He did have a family. He had a baby on the way. They were living in the suburbs. Everything is perfect with this guy. And then Nick shows up.
Yeah, but see, when everything's too perfect, that's when it's a little weird.
Well, but still, I didn't see anything until Nick, and it was just, and I don't think he's weird. I think whatever happened between him and Nick in the past, that is everything. So he saw her, and it was like, no. And that's why I'm scared to ever get married, because like now I look back and I'm just like, I don't know what you went on in the past. And even if you look at the first episode, she was in her marriage for like 7 years, and her husband had nothing. She had no idea what was going on, you know? And so I think he wasn't as weird, but definitely, yes, there's some weird energy and tendencies that were brought up.
Yeah, there was like a weird energy there, and I thought it kind of set the tone for the whole episode, which is as to why you could be like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. I get why this is like that. Yeah. So I just thought that was...
Yeah,
but go ahead, sweetheart.
I also felt like some chemistry between like him and the students in the first couple scenes. I was like, ooh, I mean, look at him, number one. And then you've got these young girls and they're learning. I'm like, ooh, where is this going to go?
Yeah, see.
It kind of gives you like there was a little bit like of a type of a controversy. That's all it is. Because, I mean, if he's already hiding something... There's nothing saying that there can't be anything scandalous that happens between him and his students. That's all she's trying to say, I think.
Right.
I understand. And I got that vibe too.
Okay, good.
But what year are we in right now?
It's 2020. Anything can happen between teacher student.
That's what I'm saying. So I didn't
Those girls really want that A.
I know, and I didn't view that as being weird. That's what I'm saying. So I got that vibe too. I definitely noticed that. I think I wrote it down too. But I'm like, it's normal. But yeah, he's probably gonna
there you go. It's normal.
hook up one of his kids.
Wow,
Like,
the world we live in today.
yeah, it's sad. I know. Trust me.
So we see Mr. B, we see Jamie, we get the vibe. Then we obviously see our favorite detective, Harry. And I just feel like this is probably going to be one of his most, very life-changing cases that he's on. And I just don't like, I love these things. I mean, I don't know if it's just me or like, is anyone else just intrigued, like how they look at these things, how they find these things? Because I think with how quick I jumped to conclusions, I would have been a great detective.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And like even by how they showed Harry's grandson and his daughter come to town, and I feel like they put a lot more attention on him early on in the show, which they usually don't.
Right.
True.
And so I felt like this episode and this season is going to be a lot more about him, a lot more about whatever he has going on, his past, because in the last season they brought up a little bit about his home burning down. His mother had mental illness. In the first episode, they brought up a little bit about his stuff, but they didn't get deep into his past traumas. And so he's jumping to conclusion about everyone else's past traumas. And I think this episode and this season's gonna, I keep saying episode, this season's gonna kind of bring out his past traumas, and it's gonna be a little more focused on him.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Whatever supernatural thing is going on, he's going to be tied into it.
Totally.
Don't ask me how, but
Totally.
he's going to like, I don't know, like he's going to be like, yo, I see Nick too.
Yeah, he always seems to like know what's up. Like he always seems to have that inkling of like it's not, everything isn't as it seems.
Exactly.
Like
he has like that
seasons, he's done
intuition.
that. Yeah.
Like he knows.
Exactly. And so I think that's why he tries so hard and he pries so much to really like get into like the core of what's going on with these, murders.
Right. So, well, now that you said murders, so obviously he knew from the get-go that it was something strange. We meet Nick. Now, the way Nick shows up at someone's house, like he didn't even like, come on, it's like you said, it's 2020. You got to call. You got to text, We got to see if
And
we're
no one
going to
rings
answer.
the
or not.
doorbell. He rings the doorbell and knocks on the door anymore. It's like, I'm outside.
I know. It's like, hey, I'm outside. Come to the door. Or don't you have the ring where your phone starts going off? So I just thought Nick, like, I felt like he was there to cause problems. And she knew that even like towards the later part of the episode when she was like, was he like in love with you? Like, no, I mean, at least for me, if I met my man's, friend from high school, my initial reaction isn't going to be like, were you guys in love?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, did she know something? Did she have an inclination about something before? Like to me, why was it? Like when I first saw it, I did not get like he was in love with him. That's not what came to my mind first. What came to my mind first was either this guy's crazy, he's envious. You know what I mean? So what did you guys think of Nick?
Nick was just, he gave me the chills the minute he showed up to the door. And I think the wife's intuition was right, spot on. It's like, ooh, I did kind of feel a tension between he and Jamie in the beginning. I was like, I didn't know exactly what that tension was, but I was like, something deeper has definitely gone on between these two. And Jamie just was not down to share. Whereas Nick was like, hey, let's do this. I'm here. You haven't called for me. You haven't checked for me. Like, where have you been? I thought we were like, friends. And here you are. I didn't know you had a baby. I didn't know you had a wife and kids. Like, what's new phone? Who did? Like,
Well, maybe there was more than a friendship. Maybe.
That's what
I mean,
I'm
see, that's what
thinking.
I hate. I have to know everything. And I want to know everything. So I'm like, why is he getting like this? And I know Nate wants to say something because he's just like, wait a minute.
Well, no, Nick is weird. Like, don't come to my house like that, and don't intrude on my family. If it was me, I'm sorry, but I hope we're in Florida and stand your ground law actually works. Because
OMG.
you are not coming to my house in my like what? But that's what I'm saying. That was the moment where Jamie switched. Everything switched then. Was right when he pulled up, and he was just like, what are you doing here? And Nick, it was immediately like, you knew that something happened in the past. He tried to get away. And then even when they're sitting down at dinner and he was just like, so it was you that wanted to have the baby. Oh, it was you that wanted to move away. Oh, it was you. So like he's prying and he's like, and trying to antagonize him. And like you can tell that Jamie's getting like uneasy. Yeah. But again, even like he said in like the preview that we saw, like I feel like I have no control. And it's like this guy, Nick, has some type of control over Jamie, some control that he cannot get away from, and it's weird. So I don't blame Jamie yet. I blame everything on Nick.
Well, I mean, I honestly, personally, I don't blame Jamie for anything. Obviously, towards the end of the episode, we see like what happens. Obviously, we all know there's going to be a twist somewhere, and like that's not what happened. What I want to know is where were they going? Why couldn't Jamie be saying anything? Like the less you say, the better. So I was just kind of like, what's going on there? And if he already had that, like that that presence about him, that demeanor when Nick showed up and he grabbed that phone and he's like, oh, let me turn this off. I mean, you had to have done something really bad.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's what I think is so intriguing. And I like shows like this because it goes into the psyche of a person of how much a past trauma can affect you to make such, I guess, horrible decisions. Because in anyone's eyes, that's a horrible decision. You did not call the, ambulance right away. You didn't try to save. Like, he was just like so traumatized of whatever happened before that it's like that just shaped me into what's going to happen.
No, that's a great point. I mean, I've been around guys who, young growing up, and you just want to be around the cool guys. So you want to do whatever the cool guy is doing. And those guys take advantage of guys who don't have that no in them. And so I've been in those situations where I wouldn't let someone die, but I want to get away from someone, period. Like, I don't want to be anywhere near you because when I'm near you, I don't make the proper decision.
Okay.
And so, they had to have done something together that was completely terrible, whether they killed someone and they buried it or whatever they used to do. And it might have been a lover affair that he doesn't want to come. I don't know what it is, but whatever they've done together, he wants that to never to come back out. But it will.
Yeah.
I will say kudos to the wife that she got turned on by it because I'm gonna be honest. A lot of women would have been like, "What? Excuse me?" Like, it would have been something along those lines. But I was like, "Hey, kudos to her." Even though all of us, when we all saw, it, we were like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask
like
you.
this was a loop that I just did not expect,
we weren't ready.
Out of nowhere. But
was
what
really
were you
cool
gonna
with
ask
it.
us?
Is that something that women are attracted to?
Not me. I don't want to speak for all women.
I can speak for myself.
Exactly.
Oh my God, we can't speak in a generalization.
No.
No, because
Not in
I
regards
do
to
know
that.
girls that it would not bother them. Like, that would not be something. But if I'm gonna be dead honest, and please don't let this come back to haunt me, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, I gotta worry about men and I gotta worry about women. That's how I see it.
That's how I assume.
That's how I would see it.
Again, I don't want my woman with another woman, period. But I just feel like from a man, it's kind of more like, okay, you did that in the past, it was a one-time thing, whatever. But as a man, if I come to my wife and they said, yeah, when I was in college, I played around a little bit, I feel like she should have a different response than just, oh, it's okay, I like that. Or it should be like,
Well, maybe she thought he was trying to play it off like because he said something like, we tried it, but it didn't work.
Right.
So maybe it was like one of those things like we tried and we didn't, but she didn't really like pry into like, well, what do you mean by try?
She seemed like she liked it.
How long, like if it were me, I'd be like, try. How long was that try? How effective was that try? On a scale from 1 to 10, on a percentile from 1 to 100. Like what, that's me. But some people don't, whatever, it got her going.
Yeah.
So,
To each his own.
The relationship between her and Nick, between her and Jamie, that's great that she's very understanding. But I have a feeling like in later episodes, it is going to become a problem. Because whatever is going to happen, that's going to be like the core of what is going on.
We shall see.
I don't know.
I don't know. And it could just be like they murdered someone together, I think because Jamie is so sexy, I think we automatically go. I think we go there. We automatically think that, it was this type of endeavor, but it could be something completely different. Like maybe he was just really influential with like drugs or, things that Jamie's just shouldn't have been doing. And, maybe Nick was just a bad influence. We've all had those friends who are just bad influences, like you said, Nate, and that we just want to get away from. Like that was true. That was a time in my past. I'm over it. I'm grown.
But my thing is like, why did he come back?
Exactly.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Because look at us, we're all trying to answer like all these like as to.
We want to know.
So we've already gone into Jamie, we've gone into Nick, we've gone into the relationship. So let's start going to Detective Harry. Now, he knows something's up from the get-go. That lady is on 60 acres of land. They're driving up there. He's looking into her. She has she's an artist, but she has like, I wouldn't say an obsession, but her main thing right now, her muse was like the male vulnerability. So when he asked her, do you know any of these guys? I'm sorry. She took way too long to be like, nope.
100%. 100%. And why is she living on 60 acres all alone?
How many dead bodies does she got on that 60 acres?
Exactly.
That's
and
what I
what
wanna
exactly
know.
is she doing on those 60 acres? I have a lot of
He's
questions.
looking at me like I am some psycho lady.
I mean,
No,
Sonia,
I'm thinking because y'all got my mind where I go ahead, ladies.
I'm telling
That's
you, our
weird.
minds can go to places. I mean, that's why I'm just like, okay, cool. She's on 68. Okay. My number one question was, if it were me, first off, I'd be like, why were they coming up here if I didn't know them, right? Who in their right mind, like the question after that is, were they armed?
I mean, that
You're
wasn't
right.
a stretch for me.
It was.
It was a
wasn't
little
for
bit of a
me.
stretch because if it was like that wouldn't be my first thing to ask. My number one thing would be like, if I'm up here and it's such a private road and I'm going up, why are they coming? Like, was it a wrong address? Something like that. But my initial thing wouldn't be, were they armed?
Well, she asked the detective if they're armed way after the fact, and she asked them. Like, she kind of like turned up on him. Was like,
Right.
you should be I should be asking you these questions. Like, why were these men coming to my house? But yes, you guys are both right. Initially, she was weird. I think that she starts with all of the supernatural stuff. It all starts with her. Everything. We're going to find out she is the centerpiece of everything. That is my bold prediction. That's my bold take. Now, 60 acres of land, I don't know. I want to buy 60 acres of land and get away from LA and all y'all too. So I can see why she has 60 acres of land, but I'm not going to be killing people and burying them there. So
You know what? I would say 60 acres of land because she got some ancient Indian burial ground there, and that's where
Something.
all that supernatural stuff is happening.
Something. But
My
my
mind
whole
just went
thing,
there.
My whole thing with the reason she asked,
cemetery.
my whole thing with the reason that she asked about being armed is I thought it was just a strategy to throw the detective off. Because you're right, it wasn't her initial question. She took a minute to ask. And then she was like, well, were they armed? Like, were they coming to rob me? Like, let's make you go down this
But
angle
normally
just to
someone
see.
would be like, were they coming to rob me? Not, were they armed? That's the only thing. It just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it threw me off, that question.
yeah,
And
no,
I think it was supposed to. I think it was supposed to.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. I completely get what you're saying, but I just think the timing of it was like, yeah, you don't ask that. Like, you don't. And the conversation was over with. The detective was walking away. Then she goes, were they armed? So I get what you're saying. I think she was trying to direct them, but I think that kind of sparked something in Harry Ambrose's head. Like, he was like,
We'll see.
that's weird.
So that's
Harry's
the thing.
too smart.
Is she a sinner or is she a saint?
Hey.
And that's why we're going to go to Ashley for our special segment as to what was the most sinful moment of the episode.
The most
Or what do we
sinful
think?
moments of the episode. There were so many in
Okay,
this
so
episode.
what is your like number one? You're like
Okay.
1A.
My number one had to have been the last scene when Jamie just let Nick die.
Okay.
Right there.
That-
And like turned the phone off. Like he could have just threw it or something. He took it and he turned it off and he just looked at him. Like
Yeah,
if that is
was-
a big sin, like you're gonna sit there and let this person that you know had some times with in college just like die in front of you and not even call. Like he could have called the police to, hey, something happened, come get
He's
my
dying.
dude. Nothing. Nothing, or at least nothing in
Well,
the
they
adequate
said
amount of time.
they were there at like 3:17.
Right.
He was pronounced at 4:33. Called, whatever.
That sounds like a pretty big sin to me.
Okay. Nate, what do you think the biggest sin of this episode was?
I don't know. And I was going to use that one, but then I kind of looked at it now from Jamie's perspective because now he's just the most important, most beautiful man. So, like, I'm on his side now. And I felt at that moment, he was so, like, whatever happened in the past, he's like, dude, I need you away from my life. He clearly moved away from their hometown to get away from this one guy. You found me. You're in my life. You're looking at my pregnant wife and you're like, no, bro, it's time for you to go. I didn't kill you. You killed us. Okay? You're the one who's speeding. We got into this accident, and I'm supposed to save your life for you to continue to haunt me for the next forever, however many years. That's not a sinful moment in my perspective. But I love you for that. Two, though, other than that, I think the other sinful moment, I don't know. I think probably when Nick came in and slit her throat in the imaginary thing.
That's what I
That's
was
what I
gonna
had to cover my face. I was
say.
like,
Yeah, like
I didn't
that.
watch that part.
Or I guess what you were explaining, which we should have talked about more.
I'm actually going to go into the sinfully significant.
Yes.
Ooh,
So yeah,
Really significant.
So
the bleeding of the hands.
Okay, so here's what got me more excited. When I first saw it, that movie was embedded in my brain. Okay, when I was young, I saw the movie Stigmata. Okay, that movie was about like possession, and like I told you guys, Stigmata is people who say that they've been possessed by whatever. They get the markings from where Jesus was crucified on the cross. A lot of people would think it's here, but it was actually here because it was able to hold more weight. So in the show, they show when he starts to see Nick, his hand right there starts to bleed. So then I was like, oh, but he did have the thing. Then he saw him, whatever. But when they went to the coroner's office, she said that he had a gash in his hand that was from 3 days ago, which would have had nothing to do with the accident. And she goes, but what's weird is that there was no stitches.
Yeah, no bandage, no stitches.
No bandage, no
nothing.
stitches, no nothing. So something supernatural was already happening before the accident. So maybe what happened back then with them was something supernatural.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Something
I'm
very
going to
sinful
throw that out
that they're
there.
gonna find out about them. Yeah, no, and even do we think, because obviously we saw the preview, so we know what's kind of coming up next, right? And we know Nick is still gonna be around, coming up and popping up, and he's gonna be seeing him often.
Yeah.
So Nick is dead,
Yes.
but he's going to be here the rest of the season, showing up in this weird, where only Jamie can see him perspective. Interesting. That's all I wanted to know. I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming, unless, I don't know, the wife starts seeing him, or I think the only person who would start seeing him would be the detective. Would
Like start hallucinating?
start hallucinating with him and start seeing things.
Oh, I could see that.
That's the only thing I can see. But then again, like I said, the show threw us for a loop already on the first episode. So why don't you throw us for another loop and tell us news about the sinner?
TV news.
So welcome to AfterBuzz TV News. Okay, we're talking about Sinner episode 1, season 3. I was saying episode 3. But Matt Bomer, this beautiful Matt Bomer that everyone keeps talking about, yeah, not my type. But I like long-haired women. Okay,
Got it.
Thank you. Yeah,
Got it.
But Matt Bomer had to go to a really, really dark place. He said this was like one of the hardest episodes that shows that he's ever had to do, even being on American Horror Story, that he had to go through a lot of things. So he really had to go to a dark place. Jessica Biel really had to help him a lot to get to that dark place. But some of these actors, they go through a lot and they stress a lot when they have to do like these psychological and these really crazy dark scenes. And so, news came out that he was really distressed by that. He had to go through a lot. There's a lot of stress, a lot of brain energy that he had to go through. And Jessica Biel helped him through it.
You know, hearing things like that, it's a little like, it's kind of I find it a little alarming. Like, I would never want to have to go anything that's so emotionally, physically, mentally draining just to get to that part. But then it's like, how dark is this season going to get? You know, like, I mean, what we said was pretty dark, but now that you say that he went through such a hard time, I'm like, what is he going to be going through?
Well, other news, another article I read, we might as well add that since I just read it. They said this is going to be the darkest season yet.
I can't take it.
So if you watch the past 2 seasons, this is going to be the craziest, darkest one that they have had yet. So get prepared. Lace up your boots.
I'm telling you guys, I love this stuff. Since I was little, I was stuck in a Catholic school all the time. I went 1st through 8th, but I was the only person that wanted to like find all these things. I'm the person that you take to the hospital, and I'm like, let's go find the morgue. Let's see if we can find them bodies. I mean, I wouldn't go do it, but like just the fact that I found it, I'm like, yes, I found it. And then I've always had my little like moments where I thought I felt things. But anyways, we're not going to get into that because I don't want to scare anybody. What do you guys predict is going to happen next
Your AfterBuzz
episode?
TV predictions.
Go, girl.
Okay, next week, I think
I love your voice and your intention and your gaze and your stare. She just makes me
ready.
feel so
Ready.
Yes, you are.
Next season, next episode, I know we'll see more of Nick, and I think they'll just uncover more of the relationship between Nick and Jamie. I think we'll get a little bit more bits and pieces as to why Jamie just had to get away. So I think that's going to happen, and I'm going to take a prediction that it won't be sexual.
Okay.
I predict that it will just be some bad stuff happen between the two of them, but no funny stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be sexual. I think that they just have a really, really intimate relationship, and they're trying to show men have intimate relationships that aren't sexual, but just like really good close friends, you know? I have
Romance.
Bromance.
Yeah, like I got best friends that I'm gonna leave here. We'll talk for 2 hours the rest of the night, and it's that's my dog, that's my spiritual brother.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of films don't show those things. It's always like that masculine. We can't open up to each other. We can't blah blah blah. So I believe that they're gonna open up more of that, either with Nick and Jamie, or Jamie and Ambrose. I believe that they're gonna have more of a connection because, like we said earlier, we're going to bring up more of Ambrose's past, and I believe his past is going to be somewhat connected to Jamie's past, and so I believe that they're going to get more closer, just kind of how in the past Ambrose got closer to the other two people in the episode, so I think that. Also, I like how these Netflix shows, all of these shows in general are, they'll show what happened, so they show the accident, but then they kind of showed us at the end, kind of like the end of the accident. You know what I'm saying? But at first they didn't show us that. They just showed a crashed car. Then they showed like what happened and how he took the phone away and hung up. So next episode, I believe they're just going to keep showing more. They keep showing why they even got in the car. What was the conversation when they left the house with the wife to get in the car?
Okay.
And then you know how we heard him say the less you talk, you know, we'll hear more of that conversation, and then we'll just keep discovering things. But slow process.
I think that the next episode we're going to see a little more as to what happened after Jamie turned off the phone. After he sat there staring at him, we're going to see a little more of that, because from when he turned off the phone to when he called, it was a significant amount of time. It was like an hour and a half. So we're going to see like what went through his head, maybe what he did, what exactly like happened.
Did he go see the crazy lady?
Sonia.
Ooh. Yeah,
Maybe.
well, I mean, I don't know, guys. I mean, I can go a lot of different ways, but I think I'm going to stick with, we're just going to see that. And then I think maybe we're going to see that Nick is going to start bothering, I'm not going to say haunt. He's going to start bothering the wife. He's going to start going after her, because I feel one of the main reasons he went to the house to go see Jamie was to also spark up a little problem between the wife and Jamie, because they're a little bit too much of a happy family with the kid and the white picket fence, like he said.
No more Homewreckers 2020.
Yeah, no Homewreckers 2020.
God.
But that's what we're going to leave it at. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the first Sinners After Show. I'm Yvette Sanchez. You can find me on anything at Sports and Sass. That's SportsNSass with 3 S's. Where can we find you guys?
Everyone, get your pencils and papers out and say your thing again so they can write down, because you know they're not going to remember that.
Sports and Sass, SportsNSass.
If you say it in the rhythm, you will remember it. I am Nate Harris. I am the drama queen because I'm everything drama worthy. But you can find me at RoyalNate_. Do not forget the underscore or you won't find me. But RoyalNate_. Sometimes I think that I'm a king, but I am.
And I am Ashley Dior Jones. You can find me on all social medias at Ashley DIORJONES. I am the good girl, the scaredy cat, and so excited about this show.
And there's only one Ashley Dior Jones, but there's many Ashleys.
That's
so
right.
we had to.
But she's luxurious.
Oh, there we go. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you all next week.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.